Inglorious Bastards is not the 2009 Quentin Tarantino movie with the same but miswritten name, and it pretty much has the same plot for the most part. Jumping on the success of Dirty Dozen, the Inglorious Bastards bring together a bunch of bad apples during World War II and sends them out on a suicide mission. Well, at least after a while, cause in the beginning they escape from their military police captivity, after which they are forced to look themselves in the eye and make the correct decision, because even rebellious men have honor, and honor is what the movie is about. It's a great action flick with a charismatic and eclectic cast showing that people who oppose each other can set aside their differences for the greater cause, especially when you're fighting against some real Nazis doing some Nazi stuff. The movie reminds me of Dirty Dozen and Kelly's Heroes and is just great fun. The closest movie to have this vibe was the second Suicide Squad, so people who love any of these movies must definitely check this one out. As for the comparison with the Tarantino one, I kinda like this one better since this is the original and I've grown weary of Tarantino's usage of previously made movies. It was novel a couple of times, but building up your own work on the backs of others sits wrong with me. Inglorious Bastards 2009 was fun but typical. This 78 original is just fun. Smash that. Bronx Warriors is a cult classic about an heiress going to the officially declared no man's land called the Bronx, where she finds refuge with a couple of gang members and gets embroiled with both rival gangs as well as the task forces sent by her dad to get her. Escape from the Bronx is the sequel to this, and we see the bad actor from the first movie come back and actually have lines and some decent acting. In Bronx Warriors 2, the main Bronx Warrior, played by Mark Gregory, is being pursued by an exterminator who vowed to clean up the city and get rid of the unwanted and poor. A newswoman trying to expose the genocide gets caught up in it, and they both try to take down the evil men. Bronx Warriors was a mediocre cult film, but Bronx Warriors 2 steps up its game and was to me a much more interesting movie. Once more we get a glorious 80s Mad Max ripoff in a gritty and run-down part of America. Explosions, bikers, gangs, pew-pew sounds and flamethrower-wielding bad guys. It's glorious. Do yourself a favor and watch Bronx Warriors and Escape from the Bronx back-to-back and finish it off with the new Barbarians, which I will review later, that is made by the same crew as the two previous movies and is equally glorious. Spoilers, am I right? Check that. A man and his friend, short on cash, wait in a bank and imagine a bank heist. Fantasizing about how easy it is, they go out on a hunting trip, but something happens that ruins their time together. Our main character, played by Ricardo Darín, stays behind and due to circumstances becomes entangled in an actual heist by pretending to be one of the original planners. Will things go like he imagined? Will he get off with all the money? Find out in Oira, a very solemn and introspective movie about the difference between imagination and reality, about how serendipity can foil your best laid plans, and even the most perfect plan can go awry by the most unexpected element of all, human nature. Ricardo Darín doesn't say much in this movie, and there are a lot of silent moments, but all this builds up to the actual heist and the conclusion, a very stark contrast to the peace of a man and nature versus the violence that occurs within and without. As you can tell, Oira is a very thoughtful movie with several layers and has something to offer for both fans of deep dramatic movies as well as heist films. A definite must-watch. Smash that. A Clint Eastwood movie about a hard-ass, highly decorated soldier who goes back into boot camp to train a couple of rebellious army dudes in a scout group. Sign me up. The no-nonsense, foul-mouthed officer played by Clint Eastwood kicks ass in every single scene with an attitude that would make today's SJWs cry and shit their pants. It's a movie about a man who skirts the rules and is a rebel in his own cause, trying to live his life uncompromised while being beset by pencil pushers and other nitwits trying to take him down. It's a story about how even the most harsh people can earn respect from those that think they are above everyone. Heartbreak Ridge, based on one of the battles Clint's character experienced. is a great and fun movie from and with a legend. It's politically incorrect in places and pulls no punches like most of the films by the man. It loses a little bit of momentum at the end during a fairly unrealistic battle, but its efforts to become a little bit like Kelly's Heroes War admirable. Heartbreak Ridge is a funny, badass military movie every fan of soldiers, Clint Eastwood and hard knock people has to see. Smash That. By the creators of the Bronx Warriors comes the new Barbarians, an unofficial sequel to Bronx Warriors and Bronx Warriors 2, Escape from the Bronx. The year is 2019. A nuclear holocaust has destroyed what I assume is America. Two badass loners take it upon themselves to protect a group of Chinook pilgrims from a group roaming the lands to have a little genocidal fun. A former member of the genocidal group called the Templars, played by Giancarlo Preet, named Scorpion, sets out and becomes the hero. But back in those days, the 80s I mean, not the far-flung future of 2019, even the heroes have it tough, and Scorpion gets into a pickle more than once cause he, despite being an action hero, is more than just a one-note figure. There's one moment in the film where you will go, wait, is this really happening? And yes, most definitely it is really happening, and there's no pussyfooting around that afterwards. No, he just goes out and does what a man needs to do. Kick ass. Take names, roll in the dirt and shoot things. New Barbarians is great 80s cheese with silly sound effects, weird post-apocalyptic Mad Maxian dress codes, flamethrowers, bows with explosives and all kinds of other goodness. Check that. I've never seen one single episode of Guyver, so I just picked a random one to start it. I always knew it had nothing to do with Majiva, but that was about it. Guyver, or at least this movie, is about a young boy who finds a weird object in a field. When he and his female friend get attacked, he turns into the Guyver, a superpower mesh-like alien-type machine who will definitely destroy you in a most gruesome and bloody way. Of course, having this much power puts a bullseye on your back, and people, and other more evil people with similar suits hunt him down. And that's about what's to be said about Guyver. A lot of people absolutely love Guyver, and I realize that this is a movie, but this didn't do much for me. It's a lot like many other anime I've seen, and those do it better. Did they do it earlier? I don't know, but at the moment, that doesn't matter. I'm still gonna hunt down the other Guyvers cause I'm super curious about it, but Guyver Out of Control was a mediocre anime that doesn't do enough to make me go, wow. There's a surprising tentacle rapey scene though, but Oira Sukeban did that better as well. Check that. A movie about that pretty awesome weirdo from the Police Academy movie who just inherited a large company and a talking horse who enjoys giving financial advice and parties. Yes, this is a movie that actually existed, and apparently no one involved wanted to do this movie cause it was beneath them, but it makes whores out of all of us, so the movie was made and it failed miserably. Even now ratings are mediocre, but to be frank, it ain't that fucking bad. Hot to Trot has some genuinely funny moments with some very charming characters. It's over the top, so if you're one of those stuck-up people who wants a highbrow comedy a la Saturday Night Live, then you can eat a donkey's dick cause a talking horse should say enough. And it's great. It knows exactly what it is and pulls out everything possible when you think about a talking horse who enjoys parties and gives financial advice. Of course it loses a little bit of momentum at the end, but that's often the case with movies. Hot to Trot is late 80s fun, so just check it out and see where BoJack Horseman got its ideas from. Check that. Zwart Water is one Dutch horror movie, something the Dutch aren't really known for, from 2010, featuring a family who decides to move from the Netherlands to Belgium after Christine's, played by Hadish Minnie's mother, dies and leaves her a house to inherit. A family moving to a haunted house, you say? Yes. Soon the daughter realizes that she is not alone in the house, and as the movie progresses we slowly unravel the dark secret her mom keeps from everyone, courtesy to the ghost that resides in the house. Fairly standard movie, right? And it is. But to give some courtesy to the movie, the ending isn't quite what you expect. Zwart Water's changed its title in English to Two Eyes Staring, which is quite the lame title in comparison to Blackwater in my opinion. Granted, there's not a lot of Blackwater in the movie, so the title makes more sense. It's a standard horror movie with not that many jump scares, an unhinged mother, a clueless father, and a couple of creepy kids. Due to the lack of special effects, it's often quite jarring to distinguish reality from whatever ghost is in the house, but eventually you figure it out. Zwart Water isn't a bad movie, it's just mediocre and doesn't go far enough. It's almost as if for people who prefer making other types of movies slow attempt to jump in the horror genre. Baby steps. Slow and meticulous. Maybe we'll get some real horror films from the Dutch. In the meantime, the south of Belgium has nailed this genre. Check that. Oira Sukeban aka Sukeban Boy is a movie based on a manga and anime about a boy who dresses like a girl cause he gets teased about his feminine face. He gets dressed as a girl and sent to an all-girl school, and then enters the drama and some very eclectic gangs of assassins. Among them a gang who is opposed to bras and has them hanging out, monk women, and other weirdos. In a genre with all this you can expect a lot of boobies and squealing women, blood spraying from several places, violence, slapstick comedy, hairy male butts in skirts dancing, men with boobs and women with other appendages, projectile shooting nipples and teeth. It's a parody of gender-bending manga and has a lot of comedy, though the low budget of it all makes this feel a bit subpar. It's not really surprising since the whole movie was shot in 3 days, which quite frankly is a feat, but imagine if he would have spent 6 days on it. It's very trashy and very much out there and combines prosthetics, body horror, sex, gender-bending, fetishes like schoolgirls and farting together into something truly Japanese. It's a novel thing for sure, and my boner was never so confused. Drop that. An eccentric director played by Clint Eastwood and his scriptwriter played by Jeff Fahey get ready to shoot a movie in Africa, but the director wants to prove his manhood and get out for some real safari hunting. In Africa, however, it becomes very clear that the director has his mind set more on hunting a large majestic elephant instead of making the movie it was intended to make. He has some badass moments with the white locals and some less badass moments with the black locals, but he becomes more and more obsessed with hunting the elusive elephant. His Moby Dick, his white whale, White Hunter Black Heart is a story you will experience from the start till the end, a journey with a man who is set in his own ways, with his own morals, and gets confronted that even his justified ethics aren't good enough. The ending of the movie is pitch black and gives any lover of good cinema enough introspective moments to ponder about what this movie represents. Directed by Clint Eastwood and featuring him as the main character should, by now, say enough. Watch this. Smash that.